welcome to Midday News right here on 3FM 92.7. We come to you live from our studios here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra and our numerous affiliates across the country. We're also live on all our social media platforms, on Facebook and on X. Coming up this afternoon, a manhunt underway for an armed robbery gang that attacked a bus conveying footballers, killing a player with Brekum Chelsea FC. Also this afternoon, National Security Secretariat declares a major clampdown on crime in Kaswa, warning armed robbery and election-related violence will be dealt with decisively as authorities report a significant drop in crime in Ewutu Senya East. And lastly, High Court grants by former Director General of National Service Scheme, Osea Sibe's request to report to Bureau of National Investigations Office in Kumasi as part of bail conditions. We have details of these and many more stories coming up shortly. Do stick and stay with us. My name is Judith Brown. Welcome once again to the bulletin. We start from here. Now, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has launched a manhunt for a group of armed robbers following a deadly attack on passengers along the Shiresu Kwame Jumo Shiresu Road in the Ninehin district. Well, the incident occurred on Sunday night, April 12th. 2026 at approximately 10:30 p.m., sparking renewed concerns about highway security in the area. Now, according to police reports, a patrol team responded swiftly to distress calls and proceeded to the scene. Upon arrival, officers discovered a VIP bus with registration number AM 9334-20, which had veered off the road into a nearby bush. The driver reportedly lost control while attempting to escape from 6 armed men, 3 of whom were wielding pump-action guns. Now, the bus was carrying about 30 footballers and players and officials of Brekum Chelsea who were traveling from Samreboy to Brekum. During the attack, one of the players, Dominic Frimpong, sustained gunshot wounds. He was rushed to the Bibiani Government Hospital for emergency treatment, but sadly passed away shortly after admission. In addition to the fatality, another passenger, identified as George Owusu Friye, aged 52, was robbed of an amount of 4,500 cedis. While police investigators retrieved 2 spent BB cartridges from the scene, which were expected to aid in ongoing forensic and criminal investigations. The Regional Police Command has since deployed additional personnel, including crime scene experts, to intensify operations in the area. Authorities assure the public that the efforts are underway to apprehend the suspects as quickly as possible, while urging residents and travelers to remain calm and continue to cooperate with law enforcement as investigations proceed. Well, our Western North regional correspondent joins us on phone. He is Matthew Ahiave. Matthew, good afternoon to you. Now, really, tell us, what have you been picking up from your sources where the incident happened?
Good afternoon, Judith. The incident which occurred on Sunday as team members were returning from their Ghana Premier League crash against FC Samakas in Samaboy. Reports indicate that their bus was being attacked by who blocked the Bibiani Goso road near the Shiaso. In fact, they forced the bus to stop where they opened fire on them. And the officials and the players, in fact, upon seeing that, they started fleeing or escaping from the gunshot, and unfortunately, the bullet hit the third victim, Frimpong, the head, and this has caused his death now, as I'm talking to you, what my sources are telling me.
And aside his death, has there been any injury to any of the others that were on the bus?
Oh, apparently, I've not had any information on as to any other players or the officials have been injured. But then contacting the divisional police commander, he made me know that the case, where the thing happened, falls within Asante region. So the case is with the Asante Regional Police Command currently, as I'm talking to you.
And what are the police saying about what has happened? How are investigations going so far?
Yes, investigations are going on. Currently, they are hunting for the armed men. Currently, as I'm talking to you, as investigation is ongoing, they assured the entire country that justice will be served in due course as they are on their investigations.
And have you been able to speak to any of the residents in that particular enclave or area? How are they feeling about this incident? Is this something that they say has been happening frequently in terms of armed robberies?
For us to go back a bit, Bibiani Goso and its enclave, it's popularly known for this robbery incident. When it comes to things like this, robbery goes on mostly all the time. And you know, the Ghana Police Service is under-resourced, so most of the time, upon hearing that thing, it will, happen. Even if they can, make an arrest because they don't have logistics. Before they will get there, what will happen had happened before reaching there. So, in fact, I learned residents are in fear. As I'm talking to you, I'm in a car going to where the thing happened, and in due course, I will bring an update on what is going on currently, what residents are saying, and how situations are over there.
Right, many thanks for your time. Matthew Ahiave is Western North Regional Correspondent, bringing us all the details on that tragic incident that occurred in Bibiani and the death that has happened. He also says that residents are living in fear currently. We'll bring you more details of this particular developing story in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, the Ghana Football Association has expressed deep grief following the tragic death of Dominic Frimpong, a winger for Brekum Chelsea, after a reported armed robbery attack on the team's bus. The 20-year-old is believed to have lost his life during the incident, which occurred on the Bibiani Goso Road as the team was returning from a Ghana Premier League match. Well, in an official statement, the Ghana Football Association said it received the news with profound shock and deep sorrow, describing Frimpong as a promising young talent whose dedication and passion embodied the essence of the domestic game. The GFA extended its heartfelt condolences to the family of the deceased, his teammates, technical staff, management, and all at Brekum Chelsea during this extremely difficult time. Well, the statement said the tragic incident is not only a huge loss to Brekum Chelsea, but also to the football, or the Ghana football as a whole. The GFA is in constant communication with the club and relevant authorities, including the Ghana Police Service, as investigations continue into the circumstances surrounding this unfortunate incident. Now let's do some more stories. And port operations across the country have grounded to a halt following a directive by the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, for a nationwide trade action. Well, the move is in protest against disruptions linked to the rollout of the publican AI system, which the association says is severely affecting business operations. In a statement signed by President Clement Boateng, GUTA expressed deep concern over what it describes as an increasingly difficult trading environment for importers. Well, according to the association, efforts to engage authorities have failed to resolve key concerns, including unpredictable and excessively high duty assessments, prolonged cargo clearance delays, rising demurrage and rent charges, as well as the absence of an effective system to address valuation disputes. While Guta warns that the situation poses a serious threat to business continuity if urgent action is not taken. Well, as part of the directive, all freight forwarders and clearing agents have been instructed to suspend payment of duties and halt operations from today, April 13 to April 17. Members have also been advised to temporarily suspend all import activities until conditions improve. The association is demanding the immediate suspension of the Publican AI system in its current form, along with a comprehensive review of its implementation. Guta is further urging government to act swiftly to restore confidence, fairness, and stability within the country's trade sector. Well, a short while ago, the trade and freight forwarders declared a 1-week strike in protest to continue the use of the air system. We'll shortly be joined by Armstrong Godalobe, who has been speaking to the coalition of traders. He'll join us shortly. But before we go to Armstrong, the National Security has declared Kaswa a minimal crime zone since 2025, but has issued a stern warning that political and election-related violence will be combated in future elections and culprits punished. Well, according to the Director of Investigations at the Secretariat, Chief Superintendent Osman Al-Hassan, there has been a notable decline in violent clashes related to land and chieftaincy disputes and efforts to curb armed robbery, which have proven successful. But he declared that government will deal with unauthorized persons who carry arms during elections.
Crime in the Central East region, particularly in the Utu Senya East, has seen a significant reduction since 2025. There have been a notable decline in violent clashes related to land and chieftaincy disputes. Efforts to curb armed robbery and other major crimes have also proven effective. The government under President John Dramani Mahama won't tolerate political violence, which has historically plagued Kaswa during elections and resulted in some cases loss of life. Unauthorized persons who carry arms during elections will not be tolerated and culprits will be brought to justice. National security and other security agencies will not allow election-related violence orchestrated by selfish individuals to harm the citizens of this community. This warning applies to both internal party elections and general elections.
Well, he was speaking at the commissioning of an office for the Utu Senya East MP. Well, at the same event, Speaker Alban Babin said, just like MMDCEs and judges, the state must take interest in providing offices for MPs in the constituencies to facilitate their work.
And there's good reason why we want the state to build the constituency offices, because it will not be for the member of parliament alone, but for the constituency. And so whether you are CPP, MPP, NDC, when you are elected the member of parliament, that is the place as your office in your constituency. And so the member of parliament, even though a member of the National Democratic Congress, is the member of parliament for all people in the Awutu Senya East constituency. So you should all be free to go to her. But we know the politics we are playing today. If you have to go to her and you have to go to her house, you know what your parties will do. They have seen you with the MP in the MP's house. You are a suspect. But when it is the national office, all of you can go there and discuss issues. That is what we want implemented in Ghana. That is what is done about democracy all over the world. The member of parliament is only one individual.
Now, away from that, the High Court has granted the request of former director of the National Service Authority, or SEACB, to report to the BNI office in Kumasi as part of his bail conditions. SEACB is facing multiple charges, including stealing, using public office for profit, and money laundering. Now, he has pleaded not guilty and is on bail. Earlier in court, prosecution pleaded for more time to file more disclosures after noting that 49 documents have been filed on Monday morning. Well, our correspondent, Lord Iduasari, joins us on phone with details on this particular matter. And now, Lord, what informed the court's decision to allow SEACB to report to the BNI office in Kumasi instead of any other location? Hello, Lord, can you hear me? Right, we're working the line. It seems we haven't gotten Lord yet. We're working the lines to reach him, and we'll get more details on this particular story. It seems we've gotten Lord. Lord, can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, Judith, I can hear you.
So I'm asking, what informed the court's decision to allow SEACB to report to the BNI office in Kumasi instead of any other location?
Right, so SEACB's lawyers, led by Raphael Opoku-Duse, pray the court to vary his reporting to the investigators. Now, presently, he's supposed to report to the offices of the BNI in Accra, but this is a situation where SEACB himself resides in Kumasi, and so his lawyers pleaded with the court to have him report to the BNI's office in Kumasi rather than that of Accra, because they made the argument that every time he has to report to the office, he has to travel, and that is quite often because of the number of times he's supposed to report to the office in a month. Now, quite apart from that, the prosecution led by Dufie Prempe, she prayed for more time from the court because she indicated that there are sets of documents that they are supposed to file the orders of the court as part of their disclosures. They indicated that they had filed the first sets, which consisted of the 49 documents, but they indeed indicated that they have more documents that they have to file. And so the court has granted a month's adjournment to the backing court on the 13th May, by which time the prosecution is expected to complete the disclosures that they'll be filed, they should have filed, that they rely on in the prosecution of the former director of the National Service Authority. And so as it stands now, SEACB will no longer have to be coming to the capital to report to the investigators at the BNI. He's supposed to go to their offices in Kumasi, Judith.
Right, many thanks for your time. Lord Iduasari has been bringing us all the details on this particular developing story. We're going to head to some politics now, because a new poll of delegates of the National Democratic Congress by Global Info Analytics shows National Chairman Johnson Asiedu Nketia leading the race to succeed John Dramani Mahama ahead of the 2028 presidential elections. Well, according to the survey, Asiedu Nketia commands 29% support among delegates, positioning him as a current frontrunner. However, the findings also point to growing competition from Finance Minister Cassia Latofo-Singh, who secured 19%, signaling a narrowing gap between the two. While other contenders in the poll include Haruna Idrisu with 11%, Julius Debra with 8%, and Jainano Pukwajiman also at 8%. Well, 1% of respondents preferred other candidates, while a significant 24% of delegates remain undecided. Asiedu Nketia, who has recently embarked on a nationwide thank you tour, appears to remain or retain a strong base within the party. Well, Musa Dankwa is lead pollster and head of global research, and he's joining us for more details on this. Good afternoon, sir. Now, your latest poll shows Johnson Asiedu Nketia in the lead, but with Cassia Latofo-Singh closing the gap, what factors are driving this shift among delegates?
Right, thank you very much on this. If you look at the previous poll, what we call the top of the brand recall, Assembly Kede had a much significant lead in that poll, where he led by almost 15 points. But in between the first and the second poll, we've seen some big shifts in the number of those who say they are undecided. There has been a reduction of all people who are undecided from 36% to roughly 24%. And if you look at what has happened in between, most who are making decisions now are floating towards up to 40.
And with as many as 24% of delegates still undecided, how likely is it that the current frontrunner can maintain his lead? And what could influence these undecided voters?
Look, if you look at the key factors that will influence them in terms of what choices they make, the top three are performance of the person in government or whatever role, about 74%, and somebody who is visionary, about 53%, and somebody who is a good servant of the government, 35%. These are the top three. Now, they are making these choices based on what they are currently seeing and probably looking into the future as well. So for now, I think Ketia has a lead, but considering what kind of figure he is, I think he should have been much higher than what the poll has suggested, which means that there may be some unease with his candidature. And the poll really shows. If you look at the race head-to-head against Haruna Idrisu, he leads Haruna Idrisu by 20 points. Against Judith Brown, he leads Zebra by 23 points. But against Atuforsin, he leads by just 5 points. So something is really happening between him and Atuforsin, and that would be the race to watch.
And what role do you think that Chairman Asiedu Nketiah's nationwide thank you tour plays in shaping delegate preferences?
Well, definitely, if you are on national tour, it keeps you in people's mind. And as you are touring, either you attract more votes to what you already have, and then try to increase momentum and increase the gap. Unfortunately, you can see that even though he's on a tour, his poll has not increased from the previous first one. If you look at the first one, he got 28%, and then second poll, 29%. So he barely moved. Whereas those who are imaginary candidates made change. For example, Atuforsin and Haruna Idrisu are getting about 7%, others about 3%. So we could see that the will not be on his side, even though he's the one on thank you tour.
Right, and before you go, what key issues or qualities are delegates prioritizing when choosing a potential successor to John Dramani Mahama?
So they are looking for somebody who is visionary, somebody who has performed in his role, whatever role that they think the person may have been given. And then the third is somebody who has served the government. If you serve the government very well, they think that would be a good factor. And this may tend to favor those who are in government.
Right, many thanks for your time. Musa Dankwa is lead poster and head of global research at Global Info Analytics. He's been giving us all the details as regards to the change in tides. Johnson Asiedu Nketiah leading now when it comes to the polls in that flag bearer race for the NDC. Now let's do some more stories. And the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, has issued a strong warning to government demanding the removal of the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Abdullahi Jinapor, and his deputy within 14 days. Well, according to UTAG, the Director General has overstepped his mandate by interfering in post-retirement contracts of lecturers, downgrading academic staff, and micromanaging University Council's actions the association describes as inappropriate and unacceptable. While the national president of UTAG, Professor Vera Fiado, made these remarks at a news conference in Accra.
Also notes the reputational and operational risk created when essential services and accreditation-related processes are used as punitive instruments. By way of example, in September 2025, GTech withdrew key services to the University of Cape Coast, including processing of accreditation requests and other essentials, and subsequently restored these services following evidence of compliance with these orders. Episodes of this nature create uncertainty for students, staff, international partners, and funders, and risk undermining confidence in Ghana's higher education brand. In particular, the saga with UCC's disaccreditation and reaccreditation sector holds very negative and long-term implications for external funding collaboration, and actually stands very much at variance with GTEC's core mandate that expects it to act as an agency for channeling external assistance and funding to public tertiary education institutions. Another recent case in point, very recent, is for the regulator to write directly to Comptroller and Accountant General to downgrade a staff member without following due processes as required within the standard tertiary education sector. Now, as a body that believes in consultative engagement, UTAG has tried to engage the regulator. So we'd like to indicate here that we have pursued engagement and dialogue with the current GTEC leadership on these concerns on several occasions. However, our concerns have not been adequately integrated into subsequent regulatory action, and the pattern of unilateral directives has persisted. For this reason, we have we sought the presidency for certain release and would like to make this known to the public. So in the light of the foregoing, UTAG respectfully calls on His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, for the following release: that the Director General and Deputy Director General of GTEC be removed and relieved of their current roles in order to restore confidence in the tertiary education sector and reset regulatory posture. 2, that the government urgently operationalizes the Education Regulatory Bodies Act through a very clear and unambiguous legislative instrument, including mandatory consultative rulemaking, clear limits on interference in internal governance, and a transparent appeals mechanism against regulatory decisions. 3, that the GTEC directives and circulars dated 30th September 2025 and 1st October 2025 will be withdrawn with immediate effect and subjected to structured stakeholder consultation and harmonization with existing legal frameworks and negotiated conditions of service.
And you heard the Professor Vera Fiado, who is the national president of UTAG, and the claims she was calling for from the president. That's how we end the midday news right here on 3FM 92.7. Pleasure coming to you this afternoon. My name is Judith Brown. Do stay tuned. Business News is up next. Bye-bye.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also coming up this afternoon, Ghana loses over 600 billion cedis in petroleum tax revenue as 199 billion liters of fuel go unaccounted for in 2025 amid rising imports and weak monitoring systems. Also, Finance Minister Dr. Kasiel Atuforsen leads high-level delegation to Washington for IMF World Bank spring meetings amid push for investor confidence and sustainable growth. Plus, Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, declares nationwide trade action as port operations grind to a halt over Republican AI system disruptions. We'll bring you details of our headlines and other stories shortly. Please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. Government forfeited more than 600 million cedis in petroleum-related taxes in 2025 after nearly 200 million liters of fuel could not be accounted for, raising fresh concerns about regulatory lapses, illicit activities, and revenue leakages in the downstream petroleum sector. This was contained in the latest Petroleum Product Analysis Report. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details. The report reveals that about 199 million litres of fuel, representing 2.1% of total national supply, could not be traced within the system. The Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, attributes the losses largely to illegal activities, including suspected diversion of petroleum products within the distribution chain. The development comes despite ongoing automation and monitoring efforts in the sector. Meanwhile, Ghana's dependence on imported petroleum products continues to deepen, with imports rising by 36.7% to 8.7 billion litres in 2025. This accounts for more than 90% of total supply, exposing the country to global price shocks, foreign exchange pressures, and supply risks. The chamber is now calling for stricter controls, including tighter export controls, real-time tracking systems, and stronger oversight of petroleum transfers between depots and refineries. It also wants all modular refineries fully integrated into digital monitoring platforms to improve transparency and curb tax evasion. The report warns that without urgent reforms, the fiscal impact of such losses of fuel could worsen. And that was the 3 Business News Desk report on Ghana losing over 600 million cedis in petroleum revenue taxes as 199 million litres of fuel go unaccounted for in 2025. Moving on, Ghana's economic recovery and planned exit from its IMF program in August 2026 will take center stage as a high-level delegation led by Finance Minister Dr. Kasiel Atuforsen participates in the World Bank IMF spring meetings in Washington, D.C. There is more in the following 3 Business News Desk report. The meetings come as the country records significant gains in macroeconomic stability since signing onto the IMF program 3 years ago. Government says it will use the platform to attract new investments, deepen partnerships with global institutions, and push for reforms to the international financial system to better support developing economies. The delegation includes Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama, as well as senior officials from the Finance Ministry and the Central Bank. Other Ghanaian stakeholders attending include civil society groups, independent economists, and members of parliament, including Public Accounts Committee Chair Abina Osei-Asare. Meanwhile, the IMF is warning of rising global risks, with Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva cautioning that ongoing geopolitical tensions could worsen food insecurity and increase demand for emergency financial support. The World Bank also says it is preparing billions of dollars in crisis funding as global growth slows and inflation pressures persist. The meetings are expected to shape global economic policy responses while offering Ghana an opportunity to consolidate its reform gains. Signing on. This is still Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausat. Some other stories. Port operations across the country have come to a standstill following a directive by the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, for a nationwide trade action. The association is protesting disruptions linked to the rollout of the Republican IA system, which it says is severely affecting business operations. In a statement signed by its president, Clement Boateng, GUTA cited concerns over high and unpredictable duty assessments, delays in cargo clearance, and rising demurrage charges. Freight forwarders and clearing agents have been directed to suspend duty payments and halt operations from April 13 to 17. GUTA is demanding the immediate suspension and review of the system, warning the situation threatens business continuity if not urgently addressed. We'll be following this story and bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. Now, before we go, Government of Ghana's streak of under-subscriptions continued this past Friday, April 10, 2026, as it failed to hit its ambitious 5.570 billion cedi target in the domestic treasury bill market. Despite seeking to bolster liquidity across 3 tenors, investor appetite remained cautious following 3 previous weeks of disappointing turnouts. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
Total bids from investors reached 5.31 billion cedis, representing a slight shortfall against the auction target of 7.57 billion cedis. Government missed its borrowing goal by approximately 259.71 million cedis, or 4.66% of the target. The 91-day bill remained the most popular instrument, drawing the lion's share of interest with 4.44 billion cedis in bids, while government accepted 4.43 billion cedis at a yield of 4.91%. The 182-day bill received offers totaling 521.96 million cedis, with government accepting all at an interest rate of 6.77%. In contrast, the 364-day bill saw government exercise significant restraint, accepting less than half of the offers. 348.94 million cedis was offered, but government accepted 162.59 million cedis, despite a higher yield of 9.97%. The subscription rate for the auction was 95.34%. Acceptance rate was 96.29%, while the undersubscription rate was 4.66%. Market analysts suggest government may be wary of locking in representing a slight shortfall against the auction target of 7.5. Total bids from investors.
That was a 3 Business Newsdesk report on government falling short of 5.57 billion cedi bill target by 4.66%. And that brings us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also, for more business stories, please check out our website 3news.com. Urban Blend is next with Black Rasta. Please stay.